It's marvellous to have Laura Mulcahy back on the exchange. Laura, we spoke quite a while ago when you were releasing the Ballad of Lucy Sands, didn't we?
We did. Hello to everyone.
It's great to have you back, and it's great to have new music back from you. Now, we've played your song a number of times, Cúmha Ndiaidh Aisling Shéanta, and it is gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. It's certainly gone out there. I don't know what happened, but anyway, maybe just lots of people like it, and
it's
so
beautiful.
delighted.
And you know what? It's really refreshing to hear brand new music as Gaeilge as well, isn't it?
Yeah, because I have been thinking about that as well since I put this out. I think during the 1980s, anything that was homegrown in the Irish language seemed to be thought of as inferior.
Yes.
And it's so nice to just unashamedly speak in your own tongue, and that's it.
Absolutely.
And no more about it.
Yeah, well, I couldn't agree more. One of the programmes I do here on Limerick 102 is called Gaeilge Bhriste, and I include traditional music, but I include modern music with Irish language lyrics as well. And you know, it's beautiful. There's an amount of stuff coming out, like between cover versions of, let's say, pop songs. Like there's a gorgeous cover version of Bohemian Rhapsody as Gaeilge at the moment.
I've heard that, I think.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, I do. There's nothing wrong with our language, and I'm particularly astounded by this because Irish is such a tiny language when you think of languages spoken the world over. It's a tiny one, and the song has gone all over the world.
It's beautiful. It's great. But there's a great love for the Irish language, like worldwide. Again, my programme Gaeilge Bhriste goes out as a podcast, and you know, it has listeners in the most far-flung corners of the farthest reaches of the world, and it's lovely. It's lovely to get messages from people saying, "Oh, we're listening here in Kazakhstan, or we're listening in Canada, or we're listening wherever." Yeah, there's a love for the Irish language out there, and I think that's maybe what, you know, people are responding to with your song as well. Of course, is the fact that it is a very beautiful piece of music.
Oh, well, I mean, it was played in Hawaii the other day.
Oh, fabulous.
I mean, it's just like, wow.
But those are the sorts of things that I love. I love, you know, the little pieces of Irish popping up here and there randomly in the world, like daisies.
They are, yeah. It's amazing, really. When I was putting it out, I thought, I don't know if it'll ever even be played really outside Ireland or anything like that. And
yes.
I mean, I've done radio interviews in America for it, in England for it, and I'm talking to you now today. But I mean, it has just travelled. It's amazing. It doesn't really matter. It's the feeling that something evokes.
Yes.
As well, even if people don't understand the words.
Absolutely. I was speaking to another artist quite recently, Cara Conway. I don't know if you know her or know of her, but she has released an album again of Sean-Nós songs, and again, you know, bringing Sean-Nós songs back into a modern world. You know, people don't know what they're about, but there is an elemental feeling within them that you respond to, even if you don't know what the words mean.
There is, and actually I would urge people anyway, if they want to hear my song, they can go to YouTube. It's up there, and in the description on the video I have included all the details of the piece, but also the English translation.
Fabulous.
So that people can actually, you know, look it up there for themselves. So.
And I suppose that's an important resource as well if somebody wanted to, let's say, learn to sing your song. Like we've just come here in Newcastle West out of Flaceol na Moon, the Munster Flaceol, and one of the things that I was talking to people about is the unexpected joy that they feel when they hear somebody else singing one of their composed songs.
Oh, but sure, it's incredible that somebody would like to take one of your songs and
learn it.
And play it. And I also see that with friends of mine who are traditional musicians.
Yes.
And you see a whole session of kids playing one of their songs.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Unbelievable. 100 fiddles.
Yeah, it's just an amazing feeling. Like, it's not, because you don't lose anything by that. If anything, your song gains a strength. It gains
a whole new life, and it's a new personality sitting inside, and it's a new layer of history to the song. It's amazing. It's
beautiful. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the song itself? What inspired you to write it? Tell us a little. I know you said it's on your YouTube, but for my listeners who might not be, let's say, tech savvy or wandering about online, tell us a little bit about Cúmha Ndiaidh Aisling Shéanta.
Okay, well, I'm not much for sensationalism, so I won't be mentioning any names.
Yes.
But I had a book here for a few years. I keep all my notebooks. I still have it. In 1996, we started recording the murders of women in Ireland.
Yes.
So we have data as far back as then. And I had found that information, and I had written all these women's names into my little book. And I do write a lot about history, or I write about politics. I'm not really that much of a navel gazer, if you get what I mean.
Yes.
So I had it there, and I knew I would do something with it someday, to remind people of these women. A large percentage of their murders were by intimate partners, and also a large percentage of their killers have never been found.
Yes.
So that was sitting there. And then early this year, a young woman was out jogging and was attacked. And unfortunately, she died. And something just clicked in my brain, and I said, "Oh my God, I have to write it now." And it came out of me in about 10 minutes.
But the best songs do, don't they? They just rush forth.
Yeah, they do. It just came out of me. I'm not a native speaker, so I got it onto my godmother, who is then. And I got her to look at it, and she said, "Well, actually, Laura, that's not bad at all." There was only a few little bits that needed a bit of tidying up, and that was it. That's the story of the song. And the song is really just a plea that any woman out there could be as free as a beautiful angel flying the sky without a care in their head.
It's a beautiful, beautiful song. We will play it. We'll play it for the listeners again in a few minutes. But I suppose there was a national outpouring of grief in the wake of Aisling Murphy's murder, wasn't there? And this is your personal response to it, I suppose, isn't it?
It is a personal response, but not just to any one of the incidents.
But for all of us.
I have a YouTube video, and I have all their names in the video. Yes. And there are 244 names on that video.
Isn't it shocking to think of that? 244 women since 1996. More since, yes.
There have been more since this year, but it was that young woman's sad murder that prompted me to write it, so I finished with her name at the end.
I suppose just the shock of it, the shock that you could leave your home in the middle of the day doing an ordinary task and just not come back.
And, there are women walking home from work. I mean, it's not exclusive to Ireland. There was a policewoman last year in England out walking her dog. My God, are we safe at all?
And these are just ordinary tasks of an ordinary life. Like, we should be able to do the things we want to do without having to be worried all of the time.
Yeah. And as a parent, I am a parent, I worry about my daughter.
Of course.
So I suppose my song is for everyone.
Oh, it's a powerful, powerful piece, and as I say, even if you don't understand the lyrics minutely, it's a powerful piece, and it's powerfully emotional as well.
It is. I wouldn't be known to do anything other than wear my heart on my sleeve anyway.
Yes.
I always make everything very plain when I write. I don't see the point in writing something that nobody can understand at all. I want people to be able to understand the message in my music.
Oh, it's important. Like we've played a number of your songs on my program here, and it's I always get the warmest of responses to them because you put a lot of yourself into your music.
Well, my music is me.
It's you, yeah.
It is me. It's I always say that I wouldn't be the most. What would you say? People would find it easy to talk over somebody like me. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be the most verbose person. I wouldn't be the most outspoken individual. But I do remember that when I started singing, people stopped and listened. So it's a tool for me to be able to communicate what might be going on in the world or how I feel about something. Or to drive a point home that ordinarily people wouldn't even listen to me.
But it's important, isn't it, to have, I suppose, the ability to use your voice in that way. Well, I suppose everybody has, different ways of creating or different ways of expressing what they're thinking. But no, we've always responded warmly and positively to your music here. I remember we spoke about the Ballad of Lucy Sands, wasn't it?
And that was written about a similar thing that happened to a young woman. I mean, I seem to be even contracted to write these stories. That was for a film. But when you think of it, that song is about a very similar occurrence, the poor young woman, and it was 140 years ago, and now I'm writing a song about 140 years later, and nothing has really
has changed. Yeah, the wheel is still turning and nothing has changed.
It is, yeah. It's very very hard to come to terms with that in a lot of ways.
It is. And I suppose the fact that we as women have to consider our daily lives a lot more than men do.
Oh, certainly we do. We have to be careful. I even know from my own daughter walking down the road, people shouting out of a van at her or whatever, just because she's wearing a shorts and a t-shirt or, that kind of thing. It's just,
That you're literally finding yourself having to make yourself small in the world so as not to be noticed.
Yeah, so as not to be noticed. And, well, I don't care. You can all notice me.
You should all notice Laura. She's been doing great music. Everybody should notice you.
Yeah.
No, it's been great to chat, Laura, and it's great. I suppose it's marvelous to see that you're still creating the powerful music that we know you for. It's been a challenging couple of years, hasn't it?
Oh my God, the last few years. I think everyone has had this. You see, I think everyone has a story from the last few years.
Yes.
I mean, it has been so difficult, I think, for every single person out there.
Absolutely, and I suppose it's important as we're slowly emerging from the pandemic period. We're not out of the woods at all yet, but we're slowly emerging for it. It's important for us to remember that it's been difficult for everybody and to be that little bit kinder to each other.
Oh, it has, and I think in a weird way, a lot of people have lost their kindness because it has been such a screwed up time as well. So you would think that going through some kind of collective trauma has made the world a kinder place, but I don't think so.
I think so
it has had the reverse effect. I think people are very much survival of the fittest at the moment because, I mean, things are pretty screwed up right now.
Yes. And it's a very important time to be creating art, I think, and responding to how things are.
It certainly is. It certainly is. But then I have now this song that you have there was the last thing that I wrote, and I have not written a word since because there is so much going on in the world. I need to just digest some of it. And I find I can't write because every time you turn around something
it's too much.
Has happened.
Yeah, it's too like you turn on the news and literally the world is on fire.
Is it?
Yes, and you think, how can I respond to this, and what response is big enough?
Yes, I might write an apocalyptic ditty.
It's just too much. You know, we come from a pandemic to, you know, a war, to the fact that, you know, there are raging fires across Europe from the temperatures. The world is on fire. Yeah, and it's too much.
So much to digest that, you know, I have just kind of laid down the notebook now for a while. So hopefully,
well, I'm sure when something comes to inspire you again, it'll come as this
it'll
did.
Fly out of me. Yes. But I mean, I can't at the moment. I have increasingly less to say right now because everything is moving so fast. In terms of, there's a new madness every day in the paper.
I know. It's a challenging time. Like, one of the programs that I do here on the radio is Current Affairs, and it's a very challenging time to be engaged with reading a lot of newspapers and watching the news.
You could be doing that 24 hours a day.
Yeah, and have no, like, there's never any good news, you know.
No, wouldn't it be nice to see something wonderful that just did a lot of good for the world? Maybe I was asked actually on the radio there a while ago, what would be my ultimate thing, like,
yes,
for my song or for a song of mine. I'd love a song to do so well that it changed something in the world. That would be good news.
Wouldn't that be good news?
Like that.
You know, to kind of think of your song as
that has actually changed something in the world,
like the let's say, like the protest songs of the 60s, you know, that made people get up, get out.
A lot of my songs are protest songs.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
and Ndiaidh Aisling Shéanta is a protest song of sorts as well. It is.
And the last few things I've done have been very rooted in history and just basically the message that we can and we should do a lot better for each other. We should be kinder and more patient. We should. I'm off now to kick a chicken.
It's been great to chat to you, Laura, and I'm sure that we'll be catching up again in the future. Would you like to introduce your song for the listeners?
Hello everybody, I hope you've enjoyed listening to myself and Shirley having a chat today. Here is my newest song, Áine Aisling Shéanta. I hope you all love it.
Martha Shebrishta Ekshula down Imron Eraish Godion Hreshin Isuvnas in ananam do seach ní hagan Aisling fíor Titen nu de ground an uignis agus ian na pistne